on to our next speaker, Lefteris.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. It's so nice to see the common threads between the presentations. It's really enjoyable. So this time we're going to focus on design education. Let me just get my presentation. Okay. So basically we're going to talk about art and design education challenges. But first I'm going to sort of tell you a bit about me. I'm Lefteris. I've been drawing and painting for a long time. And I've also been a musician for a very long time. Currently, I am a designer, I'm an educator, and I'm also a podcaster. So a little bit of context. What I'm going to say is about the visual art and design education. And approximately, even things are very different, but generally we're going to sort of get to the spirit of challenges all over the world. And we're going to talk in a global context. And I don't necessarily have answers. I think, we have a lot of questions, and maybe from the questions we can sort of go to the answers. So about over 10 years ago, I started this reflexive research, wanting solutions to design education challenges. This research involves, well, it's still going on, of course, the three stakeholders, the universities, the students, and the industry, and that relation that is so much misunderstood in many ways. Out of that research, many years later, came the first design education forum. What is different about the design VDEF is that it's focused on practice-based. So a practice-based applicable solution. So it's not about research so much, research-heavier papers, but we're looking for applicable solutions from practitioners that can be applied immediately. And so far, last November, I just finished the third one, and I'm in the process of preparing the fourth one right now. Out of these fora came a podcast called Design Education Talks that actually bridged the gap between these events and talks about the challenges of design education. And so far we've had the 64 episodes that have been published, and it's available on YouTube and on many podcast platforms. Also, I'm the host of Designer Talks podcast, a podcast that focuses on the personality of designers. So again, we have some designers in the audience, might be of interest to them as well. So this is a very nice quote from Daniel Priestley. Our best thinking 5 years ago is our baggage today. So we really have to focus, of course, on what's been happening, but also rethink and not stop sort of researching. So part of my exploration is these three stages in design education about how students are how they are before coming, during their education, and after these three stages. And right now, the arts are under attack everywhere. So this journey needs to be evaluated as of course schools are cutting more and more into the art and design courses. And again, the degrees have changed, and things are tend to be merging quite a bit, even though we still have separate specialisms. But the outlook is that that students need to also have their awareness on a much broader range of specializations. So again, one of the things that has suffered tremendously in the past, let's say, less than 20 years is contact time that has been reduced. And that is something that, again, we need to look at. Another thing that is not happening as much is drawing. And again, we have to really look at that and see how that can be applied. and allow students time to do that as a practice, as a foundation for creative practices. So we need to evaluate the student journey and think in terms of a much wider time frame. Not look at the very short-term gains, but look at the wider time frame and on how industry can be implemented, how we can implement the industry into the education, so that the student journey can be more geared towards that. Again, so how can education support the future of art and design? So this is something that, again, this is a question. It's very open-ended for the audience as well. And how can we support? That's another challenge during the pandemic, and of course, right now, is online or offline apprenticeships. So something that we could support students with. So really, for me, the greatest gift of education is to allow students to be themselves, and that's something that we need to really invest on and promote. Thank you so much.
Hey, Lefteris, you whizzed through that. It was really interesting you saying about drawing and time. Do you think students are really impacted by the amount of noise they have with social media and phones?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Mm.
The focus is not there, but again, it's a practice, and of course there are many things that can be said, about that. But again, in our space, I just wanted to give the flavor and not, so that we have time for questions and dialogue.